Hi everybody, Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. Before I get into today's topic, I just want to point out two channels that I think people should be checking out if they haven't already. One is Gary B, the Casual Guy. He is pretty good. He has some interviews every twice a week where he brings people in and they talk about the books they like and they show their favorite book and they tell stories about books, and it's actually pretty cool. Sometimes it's not comic books but other things that the person's into, and it's actually cool. I've been on the show once. It's actually quite cool to see what other people are interested in, and of course, you get to see what kind of books they like, so that is always a plus. So that's Gary B, the Casual Guy. And the other one I'd like everybody to check out if they can is called Collecting Chaos, and this is with K's, not C's. So Collecting K, like Koll, etc., etc. I've been watching him, and he's apart from being a big Superman fan, he does a lot of showing of books he likes, and he shows things like cleaning and pressing, and if you're into that sort of thing, I think that that's somebody you should be watch. I will be putting both the links to these two guys, these wonderful channels, in the description of the video below. So go check them out. Go give them a sub if you like. They're really good channels. So we'll go from there. Now, to today's topic. If you'll recall, not too long ago, I did a video on the series The Brave and the Bold. Well, this is the follow-up video where I talk about the series that replaced The Brave and the Bold. And that was Batman and the Outsiders. So you still had Batman, and you still had him teaming up with other people, but this time it was a permanent team situation. Or as permanent as super teams are. You know how it is. The reason this came about was they decided to cancel Brave and the Bold because the sales of Brave and the Bold were falling, and coupled with the Marvel 2-in-1 being canceled around the same time, they discovered that there's less market for team-ups of heroes. Now, DC Comics Presents went till 1987, and I believe Marvel 2-in-1, not 2-in-1, sorry, Marvel Team Up went on for a little bit longer. We got to issue 150, and it was replaced by the title Web of Spider-Man, if I remember correctly. It didn't last much longer than this either. So that concept, which worked well in the 70s, didn't really translate well into the 1980s. So with the cancellation of Brave and the Bold, and this is issue 200, DC was looking to fill the hole left. And, finding out that, of course, team books still sell, and Batman was on an upswing in popularity that he's never come down from. The period in the early 80s, I'd say 1981 and 82, was the lowest point of popularity for Batman, and it's been up ever since, right up to the current day. So, and by sales disappearing, like, there were still almost 500,000 of these out there. So sales have gone from about 750,000 to 500,000, but with prices going up, now this is a double issue, and this is also the Canadian price variant, I'd like to point out. So it says 150, it would have been $1 or $1.25 in the States. They did that. So what they decided to do is make a team with Batman as the focus. In that issue of Brave and the Bold, they introduce the Outsiders. Okay, it says right here on in the comic here, it says special sneak preview, 16-page premiere story starring a sensational new super team, Batman and the Outsiders. This, of course, becomes the first appearance of 3 of the main Outsiders characters, Halo, Geoforce, and Katana. Katana to this day is used quite frequently. Sometimes she's in the Suicide Squad. Sometimes she's used as a, hey, this person knows Japan kind of thing, right? Halo and Geoforce don't make many appearances anymore. So we get to Batman and the Outsiders 1, where Batman quits the Justice League of America because they refused to help him find his friend Lucius Fox, who had disappeared in the country of Markovia, a fake European country. If you look at the map, it's near Luxembourg, meaning it's about that area. Traveling with Black Lightning, Batman then found a young girl by the name of Halo, Metamorpho, Katana, and Geoforce, who was the Prince of Markovia, over the course of the adventure. And after they bring the big bad of the first two issues, Baron Bedlam, down, they decide to become a team. Eventually, they gain members Windfall, who started out as a villain against them, and Looker. Now, Windfall doesn't stay very long, but she pops in and out over the history, where Looker does stick around for a while. Batman ends up disbanding the team and returns to the Justice League of America. But the rest of the team members decide that they're going to stay together and use Markovia as their base of operations. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of the books. What I'm going to do is talk about the few series that the Outsiders have had over the years and show a couple books from each series. This is the first one, Series 1, Batman and the Outsiders, from 1983 to 1987. They were original stories and then became known as The Adventures of the Outsiders after issue 32 and became a reprint title for The Outsiders. I'll get to The Outsiders shortly. This is issue 1, which I've been holding. Issue 2, that's Baron Bedlam here at the controls. By the way, it was Mike Barr and Jim Aparo who came up with the Outsiders and Batman. And as you can tell, this is definitely Aparo art. On occasion, Aparo takes a book or two off during this run, but he's basically the only one who works on it for very long. This is issue 3. Four. And issue 5, which is absolutely cool because it's a team up with Teen Titans. It was started in the New Teen Titans 37, and then this finished the story. And in it, Geoforce finds his half-sister Tara for the first time in years. Yes, that Tara. And this is issue 7 because it's got a cooler cover than issue 6, at least in my opinion. Now, as I was saying, in 1985, they changed the name of that title to The Adventures of the Outsiders. That's because, similar to the Teen Titans and the Legion of Superheroes, Batman and the Outsiders were given the Baxter treatment, where they had issues that came out only in direct stores, and then there was the reprint title about a year later. So, this one I don't have as many books from, but I do have some that I'm going to show. This is from the Baxter era. This is issue 10. There were only 28 issues during the Baxter one. Issue 25. Issue 26. Issue 27, where they find out that their support character, Dr. Jace, is actually been a manhunter during the Millennium event. This, of course, a lot of this takes place post-crisis, of course, based on the timeline. And issue 28, which I said, it even says right here, even the last issue. Now, it's cool that Black Lightning and Metamorpho were on this team because it was good to see them being used again back then. Black Lightning had barely been used after his own title, and Metamorpho pops in and out. He had a couple of issues in Adventure Comics in the mid-70s, but he had a first issue special, which didn't really go anywhere, and so forth. And it was nice that they found a way to throw him into a team of not the last time they'll throw him in a team of wacky people, right? Justice League. The next Outsiders series came out in 1993, and it was 25 issues. And the membership had slightly changed. Here it is Geoforce, Katana, Halo, Looker, someone by the name of Sebastian Faust, who was a magician, and a person by the name of Technocrat. And he had a friend named Wild, who unfortunately ended up having to be put into a bear in order to stay alive. And basically, they had a bear member, as in bear, Bear, not bear as in bear arms, like that. So, this is Outsiders 4 from that series. And Outsiders 5. This series is tough to find. I don't think it was printed a lot because I have looked. This is one of those teams that I really liked as a kid. That first Batman and the Outsiders run. I was there because I got Brave of the Bold 200, and then I got that, and then I got number 1. I was right there from the beginning. I really like the idea of Batman having his own team like that. After all, Superman gets a lot. He had the Legion of Superheroes, for example. Batman never had anybody other than the Justice League, which Superman had too, right? So I look for these books. That particular series is very tough to find, and so is the next series that I'm going to show, because I've only been able to find 3 books from this one. And this is, it started out as Batman and the Outsiders. Oh my God, I'm just realizing something. I am actually missing some from a series in between, because this is the 07 series I'm about to look at, but there was a series from 2003 to 2007 which had 50 issues with the membership of Arsenal, Nightwing, Metamorpho, Technocrat, Looker, and somebody by the name of Breach and Jade. And I don't have any of that series. Oh, wow. I'm just realizing that as I'm looking at these books now. So there is a series of Outsiders out there that is 50 issues that I don't have a single one to. I'm going to have to fix that up real soon. It looks like I'm going to after this video is recorded. I'm shocked. I usually have everything that I'm talking about in these videos for a reason, because I want to make sure I have everything. Well, let's move on to the next one. 2007. They brought back, instead of calling it the Outsiders, which they did for the last 3 series, they called it Batman and the Outsiders again, because Batman has come back. This series was from 2007 to 2011. Its members were Batman Katana, Martian Manhunter, Metamorpho, Catwoman, who was soon replaced with Batgirl, Geoforce, and Green Arrow. After the death of Batman, which happened around this time, they renamed the series The Outsiders again. But on the final issue of 40, they went back to the name Batman and the Outsiders just for the final issue. So this one I have a couple of issues from. Here's issue number 1. Great cover with Martian Manhunter, Katana, Batman in the back, Catwoman, Metamorpho. This here is sorry, oh my God. I can't remember. Oh my God, I didn't write. I guess the membership didn't get listed on the source I used. All right, Batman and the Outsiders 7. Nice Metamorpho cover. And number 10. Now, when this became the Outsiders, when they changed the name, they changed the purpose of the team. It was no longer a superhero team. They became a covert team that did things behind the scenes. The members were asked to give up their lives. This would be about issue 15 or so. They were asked to give up their lives and become full-time members and be prepared to, do whatever it took. And I do have the issue where they came up with that. It was a special, Batman and the Outsiders special that came out in 2009, which actually had this really cool part where Batman was like, if you're listening to this, I'm dead. Alfred, thank you. Dad. He calls him Dad. It's pretty cool. And the team that got put together for that part, I have a few of those issues, and I probably should have picked some of them out. But it was Roy Raymond, detective, to replace Batman's, detective prowess. Black Lightning, Geoforce, Halo, Katana, the Creeper, and Metamorpho. And as I said, this went on for a total of 40 issues, and this was actually a really good series. I have a few of others still in the boxes that I didn't show today, but this is a series. Of the Batman and the Outsiders series, since series 1 and 2, like since the 1981, this was probably the best one. In the New 52, the Outsiders were only mentioned briefly in Batman Incorporated. They were never really shown. They faked their deaths at one point, and then they were like literally like all you saw was a couple of guys like Geoforce saying "no problem" as they got onto the plane, and then the plane blew up. So they did help in the end after Damian Wayne got killed, but again, their New 52 career was very brief, and therefore they weren't involved in that part. But in 2019, they finally did a new Batman The Outsiders title, 17 issues. This one I have the run. The lineup for this was Black Lightning, a character named Duke, Katana, Metamorpho, and then every couple of issues they had a revolving fifth member. Sometimes it was Cassandra Cain. At one point it was Lady Shiva herself. There's a whole bunch of different ones, and I think they even had Deathstroke in one issue. Anyways, this was issue 1 from that 2019 series. Two, and this was out when they had the Year of the Villain, so the Batman and the Outsiders was part of it. Here's number 3. Great Black Lightning cover. 4, in this one, Ra's al Ghul ends up helping them a little bit and then turns on them because it's the Year of the Villain, right? And this one is the issue number 5. This is a variant cover. Batman and the Outsiders have not returned since its cancellation in 2020. But and it's 6 years later. I hope maybe they'll come back at some point. I'd certainly like to see some of the characters again. The main 6, the original 6, as I'll call them here, and those in Canada knows it means something else, but you know, original 6. The original 6 Outsiders plus which included Batman are to me the best of them all. But they've got some pretty good runs afterwards. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. Tell me if you've ever read Batman and the Outsiders, and if so, what did you think? Who was your favorite hero? Who did you hate the most? The biggest, craziest thing for me was when Looker became a vampire, and that has continued to be canon to this day. Looker was in one of the episodes, one of the issues of the last title, and she was still a vampire by trade. And of course, Looker, by the way, had a one-shot early in the New 52 run where during the what they called the National Comics, where they did 8 one-shots, and Looker got one of them. Anyway, thanks again for joining me today. I really appreciate it. My name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Bye, everybody.